Fantasy freaks and geeks. What's up? James Coe here with you. 15 to 20 minutes is all I need to walk you through this wacky world of fantasy football. And my God, what a day it was in the world of the NFL. My goodness, this was a lot of fun. Davante Adams gets traded to the Jets and Amari Cooper gets traded to the Buffalo Bills. My goodness gracious, what a day. Oh, this is a great day to be a football fan, man. Amari Cooper, though, let's start there and talk about his impact for the Buffalo Bills and what it might mean for all of those pass catchers there. Okay, so Amari Cooper, man, to the moon. Okay, the Bills have gotten the fourth fewest yards from outside receivers this year. The only teams worse are the Titans with Will Levis, the Chargers with Quentin Johnston, and a team that doesn't pass that often, and New England. Okay, and New England doesn't have a single outside receiver of note, but the Bills were fourth fewest in the NFL in regards to yards received from outside receivers. So obviously something had to change. That's why they go and make the move for Amari Cooper, who comes in and parachutes in and fits this team absolutely perfectly. And how bad did the Buffalo Bills need a player like Amari Cooper? Well, last year, even with a diminished Stephon Diggs, the Bills had the ninth most pass yards when throwing to the outside. And again, this year, fourth fewest in the NFL. So the drop-off was obviously extreme and severe. Meanwhile, Amari Cooper, one of the most productive outside receivers last year. He had the fifth most yards among all receivers when targeted outside. In fact, among all players with at least 90 outside targets, Cooper had the highest yards per route run average in the NFL, 10.2. I want you to think about that now. Every time he runs a route and gets targeted on the outside, he's picking up 10.2 yards per route. That's pretty good. That is impressive. Now, if we lower that threshold to, I think it was 65, Nico Collins and George Pickens were ahead of him. But again, you get a sense, I mean, especially with Nico Collins, you get a sense now with how good Amari Cooper was when targeted outside. So he fills a huge need for the Buffalo Bills, and he gets to play with a quarterback in Josh Allen. No disrespect, no shade to Dak Prescott, but this is the best quarterback that Amari Cooper has ever played with in his career. Cooper, for me, is an easy top 20 receiver rest of season. With by the way, with upside for more. Okay, just compared to some of these high-profile, high-name guys, right? Like Amari Cooper or Michael Pittman, who you taking? Go ahead and give me Amari Cooper. I mean, again, if Indianapolis seems determined to play Anthony Richardson, 100% for sure give me Amari Cooper. Again, the aforementioned George Pickens. Arthur, can I just say Arthur Smith? Right? Arthur, that's all you need to say. Okay, go ahead and give me Amari Cooper easily. Chris Olave in New Orleans. Again, we don't know how long Derek Carr is going to be out, but we got Spencer Rattler here for the next few weeks. Again, go ahead and give me Amari Cooper. Marvin Harrison in Arizona. Marvin Harrison, who most people took with a top 20 selection. Go ahead and give me Amari Cooper ahead of Marvin Harrison. First of all, he's going to miss one game. Maybe that's cheating. But even after he comes back, okay, go ahead and give me Amari Cooper. Why? Because, listen, this is a team that in the Arizona Cardinals that has the seventh lowest pass rate over expected. Jonathan Gannon is a defensive-minded guy. He wants to establish the GD hell out of the run. Okay, and he's doing that. All right, so Marvin Harrison, the connection with Kyler has not quite been there, man. Bottom line is maybe I'm being a little too bullish. Maybe I'm being a little too bullish on Amari Cooper, but man, you cannot tell me of all those players that I named that any one of those guys, including Marvin Harrison Jr., has a higher upside than Amari Cooper playing alongside Josh Allen. I don't see it. I do not see it. All right, so what does this mean for those Cleveland guys, Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore? Because again, Cooper, his departure opens up 8.8 targets per game. I mean, nearly 9 targets a game. That's tons. That is a ton of target share available for Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. But this is the problem. Even when he was receiving these nearly 9 targets a game, tons of air yards and all that kind of stuff, the volume was out of control. I mean, the volume was certainly there for him to be a top, 20 wide receiver for Amari Cooper? Bro, he's the wide receiver 36. Amari Cooper is currently the wide receiver 36 in PPR, man. Come on. That's a problem. So Jerry Jeudy is the wide receiver 51. Elijah Moore is the wide receiver 86. So I just ask you, how far are you willing to move Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore up? How far? Do you think Jerry Jeudy becomes a better player than Amari Cooper to the point where he is higher than a wide receiver 36? Let's say he is. Let's say he's motivated. He's getting all the targets. Let's say he just finds a little bit of spike in touchdown production. What's the highest you are willing to put Jerry Jeudy, knowing that Amari Cooper, averaging 9 targets a game, was the wide receiver 36? I mean, you should not be putting this dude higher than wide receiver 30. They're just, that math ain't mathin'. Okay, that just don't make no sense. So we are talking about a wide receiver 3, probably a low-end wide receiver 3 with very limited upside, man. Now, that being said, this team just traded away Amari Cooper, right? They just traded away Amari Cooper. Does Deshaun Watson just throw it in, man? He's getting so much crap. Holy hell. The online hate for Deshaun Watson is out of bounds. My God. And clearly this team is willing to dismantle, right? So I guess my question is, how long do you think that Deshaun Watson basically hangs in there? How long? I would not be surprised, and you should not be surprised, if Deshaun Watson finds a mysterious ailment that sidelines him for 1, 2, 9 games. Maybe the rest of the season, I don't know. But just something, man. Just something. Some mysterious ailment. Is it a hamstring? Oh, man, my back be hurting. My neck? I don't know. Something. Some mysterious ailment going to keep Deshaun Watson. I wouldn't be surprised. You wouldn't be surprised. So I bring that up in saying, first of all, if you're in a 2 QB league, obviously Jameis Winston is probably gone, but he should, if he's available, then obviously go pick him up. But Jameis Winston, if he comes in, then I am actually more interested, and I'll be back in the Jerry Jeudy, Elijah Moore business. Okay. So, but again, until we see that quarterback change, I'm still going to be all out on Jerry Jeudy and Elijah Moore. All right, let's talk about the other big trade that went down, and let's talk about Davante Adams, man. And again, Adams to the Jets, Adams to the moon. Adams to the moon with Packers East. Packers East is, man, they're loading up right now, which is great. It's a lot of fun. Okay, so the trade for Davante, by the way, is so insanely good for fantasy for a couple of different reasons. One, if the trade negotiations had kept on and it was dragging on, that's more games. That is longer that Davante Adams is sitting out. Right now that they've completed the trade and done all that stuff, most likely he is back for week number 7. I'm sure his hamstring injury will miraculously heal. That hamstring injury that kept him out of 2 games, I am sure that will miraculously heal up. Okay, I think he'll be good to go week number 7. Right? Now, he's also going back to a quarterback that knows him and has built-in chemistry, and also he already knows the playbook. He already knows the Nathaniel Hackett playbook, y'all. So there's no ramp-up time whatsoever. None whatsoever. And for most of these guys, and this includes Amari Cooper, Amari Cooper might be a little slow out the gates. I don't think he will be, but he might be a little slow out the gates for a week or 2. And again, I don't think that's going to happen. But Davante Adams, no ramp up time needed. He's fresh as a daisy. He hasn't played in a couple games. I'm sure he's raring to go, man. I'm sure he is just ready to ramp up and just get after it. Let's go. But yeah, Davante Adams to the moon. If he's not a top 10 receiver the rest of the way, I would be absolutely shocked. Absolutely shocked. I'd be floored. Okay, but the big question is, what is going to happen with Garrett Wilson? And my opinion is, I think Garrett Wilson's in trouble. Boys, I think Garrett Wilson is in big time trouble, right? I can't help but think this is a massive downturn for Garrett Wilson. He is leading the league in targets. He's leading the league in targets. Yikes. That number's obviously going to come down significantly. right? So I'd like to sit here and tell you that Allen Lazard will cede some work and that, obviously Mike Williams is now on the trade block, right? That all these targets will end up going to Garrett Wilson, and him currently averaging 11.2 targets per game, that's going to be, more like 9 or 10. I'd love to sit here and tell you that because I've got Garrett Wilson. I'm invested in Garrett Wilson. I want Garrett Wilson to succeed. But I am not in the business of wish casting, okay? That's not what I do over here on the Sleeper King Football Podcast. Please subscribe, okay? And go check out the website, sleeperkingfootball.com. So I would love to sit here and wish cast for you, but I'm not going to do that, all right? He's averaging 11.2 targets per game. I think that drops down to like 7 or 8. And you're saying to yourself, well, that's not that bad. You're right, it's not that bad, but it's still a 30% reduction. That is a 30% reduction in targets. Right? And you could say to yourself, yeah, but the efficiency will go up. Yes, it will. 100%. The offense for sure is going to be better overall with Davante Adams. And Wilson himself is going to get away from top coverage guys. So, yeah, 100%. Yeah, like Garrett Wilson is definitely going to see more efficiency. I think of that we can be 100% sure. But you just can't get around the fact that he's going to see, easily 30% reduction in targets. You can't make up for that with efficiency. You just can't do it. It's impossible. So again, Wilson currently averaging 16.23 PPR points per game. I think that falls to anywhere between again, if I'm being conservative, probably like 11.5 to 12.5 points per game. And again, that's fine. That is fine. But that is nowhere near the kind of production you need from a player you picked at the end of the first round or somewhere in the second round. That's tough. I just don't see that recovery happening here. So again, would I sell him for nothing? No, of course not. As a matter of fact, I'd probably just hold on to him because I don't think you're going to get fair value back. But it's tough. I don't see a road to recovery here for Garrett Wilson unless, heaven forbid, something happened to Davante Adams. The bottom line is this when it comes to Garrett Wilson. Again, I would love to sit here and tell you Allen Lazard is going to see less of a role. I just don't see it. I think he becomes their primary slot receiver, right? And Lazard himself is averaging 6.7 targets per game. How much of a downturn do you see in that? I think it comes down to, a target? I think he still sees 5 to 7 targets in this game because of his role as a primary slot receiver for the Jets. And remember, this is now Packers East, guys, right? Rodgers is going to Rodgers. I think Garrett Wilson, I'm not saying he's going to be the odd man out, but to try and figure out mental jigsaw of how Garrett Wilson is going to get to 10 targets a game, I don't see that. I'll say this. I'll also say this in regards to Garrett Wilson. I am 100% sure the week by week volatility is it's going to spike, right? And that's part of when you see 11.2 targets per game, there's not that many down games. You just don't have that many down games, but I think now there's going to be a lot more spike weeks depending on when he catches touchdowns. And yeah, man, there's definitely going to be games where he sees 5 targets and gets you, 4 grabs for 40. There's definitely going to be those games, 100%. All right, let's talk about on the flip side. Davante goes from Las Vegas and then goes to the Jets. Okay, so what does that mean for your Raiders guys? Well, we could just rewind to the Cleveland Browns part if you would like. Okay, but look, there's just not that much hope and optimism here. We're talking about an Aiden O'Connell / Gardner Minshew-led Raiders offense that right now, even with Davante Adams in there, did not look good. Okay. Actually, Jakobi Meyers was actually a lot more productive with Davante Adams than he has been without Davante Adams. The offense has been disastrous. There's just no getting around it, right? And because of that, Davante was dragging with him double coverage, and Jakobi Meyers was getting away from top coverage, and it was all working out, right? So the volume, I think, overall will be there, but the quality of that volume will be pretty low, right? So I'm thinking 7 to 8 low-quality targets for Jakobi Meyers moving forward. He's not much of a downfield threat. So when you're looking at 7 to 8 targets, not downfield, in the short to intermediate area of the field, what are we looking at now? I look at that player and I say, yeah, that's a guy that's going to give you anywhere between 7 to 12 PPR points per game. You know, and he'll give you an occasional spike game because maybe he gets you the 6 for 60 and a touchdown. 18 points. Boom. Take it. Love it. You love it. But again, the upside is I just don't think there, and there's going to be some real bad, disastrous weeks as well. Guys, I was in on Trey Tucker. I was way more intrigued by Trey Tucker because he's an outside wide receiver. Yikes. I mean, come on, guys. The dude scored 0.0 points, a literal 0 point effort here from Trey Tucker in week number 6 with both Devontae and Jakobi Meyers out. I mean, we might as well play Who the F, because who the F is Alex Bachman? Alex Bachman was more productive. 3 targets, 3 grabs, 31 yards. I had to look this player up, man. I'm like, this dude sounds like a Madden creative player. Okay. Alex Bachman. And this is the other thing. I'm like, I've never heard of Alex Bachman. He must be a young player. No, he's not. My dude's 28 years old. Bachman is 28 years old. He's a 28-year-old undrafted receiver. Get this. He's never seen an NFL target until week 6 of the year of our Lord 2024. Never. He's never seen a single target until he got with the Raiders, man. At 28 years old, that is, first of all, kudos to Alex Bachman for just hanging around and hanging tough and creating a little bit of a living for yourself as a practice squad player. That's awesome, bro. Like, the mental fortitude it must take to do that is pretty darn impressive. But God, I bet you anything this guy becomes a coach. I bet you, yeah, because he's white too, by the way. But I bet you anything. I bet you anything. Alex Bachman becomes a coach. Oh my goodness gracious. Find me in 10 years when this guy's going to be back in the NFL leading some, he's an OC or some head coaching candidate. Go find me. Find me, okay? Alex Bachman, you heard it here first, will be an NFL coach at some point in his career. Anyways, not interested in Trey Tucker. I can't believe he gave you a 0 spot after both Jakobi Meyers and Devontae Adams were out. But it's Aiden O'Connell. It's slash Gardner Minshew. What really else do you want here? But anyways, so there you go. No interest really that much anyways in any of the Raiders guys moving forward. So there you go. That's the show, guys. If you would, that'd be great. Go check out the website, sleeperkingfootball.com. But really though, I don't even care if you do that, but man, could y'all please hook me up with a subscribe, and could y'all please hit me with the 5-star rating if you enjoyed the podcast. Anyways, I got to go. Remember, it's never too late to chase your dreams. Peace.